to another impactful episode. We're about to go through and highlight a melanated married couple or just go through some lessons that we got. Make sure y'all tap in with the conversation. Queen, where can they go to tap in?
TheeM4Show.com.
Yes, ma'am. And make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Queen, where can they follow us on Instagram?
TheeM4Show.
Now, if y'all haven't liked and subscribed, it would make the Queen very, very happy. If you can go ahead. Very? What should they do?
You should go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're watching or listening. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
It's free, and your first step to becoming a millionaire. Go ahead and click that button. And let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another powerful episode of the Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making show. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And as usual, I have my beautiful, my smiling, my melanated, my no vertebrae having queen herself. What's going on? Rude. Please introduce yourself.
What is up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. And he is making fun of me because my neck is very stiff and in pain right now.
Look,
so if I look a little funny and stiff, yes, and the way that I've turned to look at him, that is why.
Oh my goodness. We are currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is our second time at the All Black National Convention. Shout out to Boyce, Watkins, the B1 team, B1 family. It's been a good vibe out here, but it's been cold. Yeah. We're from Cali. We're from Southern California specifically, i.e. if we're going to zone in and be laser focused. And, it's usually nice and warm, toasty. Even in the winter, it's still, you might drop a few sweats, a few drops of sweat. But it's been a good time out here. But before we get into the amazing episode, Queen.
Yes.
I'm going to hit them.
With the did you know?
With the did you know?
Sorry,
you want to go ahead and give me the proper introduction? Go ahead.
Yes. Before we get into the podcast here, you all, King, would you like to hit the folks with the did you know?
Of course. So, people, did you know that copper can actually help to increase blood circulation, decrease inflammatory, and do something for your aches and pains? I don't know what the right word is for the aches and pains, but it could do something for your aches and pains. And I say that because we just got hooked up with some handmade copper jewelry. Some of these do have some nice gemstones in them. I have obsidian over here, which is supposed to protect your psychosis, right? It gives you psychic protection or psyche protection when you step into a room, you step into a situation where there might be some interesting vibes in the space. You need some shields, you need some barriers, you need a force field to protect your mind from some of that bad energy, from some of the hater energy. Get you some obsidian, all right? And the queen got some citrine over there. Citrine. All right, it's supposed to increase and spark your creativity. And all of that, again, is encased in the copper to help bring it in to the body, into the circulation of your blood flow, of your mind, of your consciousness. So, get you some natural metals or get you some natural gemstones, get some copper in your life as well. You can find it at some of your local farmers markets. We got it from this dude. Man, what's his name as a vendor? He just had such great energy. He was calling me king, calling me God. I was calling him king. And I was just like, it was a good back and forth.
Y'all never actually walked away with names.
I don't know his name, but I know the brother's a king. All right, that's what I do know. But yeah, get you some copper jewelry. Queen.
Yes.
Hopefully after wearing this for a little while, your neck will start to get better. It'll start to ease your circulation and your joints and pains.
That is the hope.
That is the hope.
It's helping a little bit already. I'm able to look at you like this.
There it is. See? It's working, y'all. But again, huge shout out to the All Black National Convention. We were a part of the Shop Black Circle. So this week's small business sponsor of the podcast is going to be none other than Black Wall Street, the board game. All right. We'll talk more about the exciting stuff that happened for Black Wall Street, the board game later on in the episode. But y'all can get your Black Wall Street, the board game today at playblackwallstreet.com. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get it right in time for the holidays. whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Kwanzaa, whether it's Hanukkah, Yom Kippur, whatever holiday you and your people celebrate, and you want to bring the family together for some family fun, some financial literacy, some Black excellence, and some real Black history, Black Wall Street, the board game, is the game for you. PlayBlackWallStreet.com. Go ahead and get your game today. Now, Queen,
King,
we're at the convention. I feel like I just want to kind of go through some highlights, some things that happened, some lessons we learned, some funny jokes that came up. Let's just go through our experience. People that are listening, if you've never been to the All Black National Convention, highly recommend it. We went last year in Orlando, this year in Charlotte. We don't know where it is next year, but hopefully it's maybe on the West Coast. Boyce, what's popping?
Come
over to LA, right? We got some people we can connect you with, but we're going to talk about our experience. Hopefully at the end of this episode, you're more interested in the All Black National Convention, and we'll see you there in person next year. Queen,
King,
are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. Without further ado, beautiful people, let's get into the episode. Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the health nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. In Smash Bros, the person who just inhales people and then now they have their powers, it might be Jigglypuff. I don't know. So the question for y'all, because I'm gonna put you on blast, Queen, as soon as we cut to the intro, she took the biggest yawn.
I've been holding it in like you hold in like a burp or a sneeze. It was like, okay, let me wait. As soon as I saw it, I was like,
and it reminded me of that character from Smash Brothers that inhales people. It might be Jigglypuff, Jay, that inhales people and then they have their superpowers. If y'all know who I'm talking about on Super Smash Brothers, just put the comment where you're watching this on Instagram, YouTube, wherever. Just put the comment so I can ease my psyche.
I just thought about someone randomly finding this video. No, it's like he's Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff, like 5 years
right,
from now.
Right. Like what in the world? All Black National Convention. What is happening?
What is the connection?
Right.
But it has been a beautiful, long, impactful, but also tiring weekend.
Yes.
Our flight, as usual, but our flight was at some early time. It was like 7:20 LAX. We're in the IE, so we had to wake up at 4:00. Long story short, it was a rightful, well-earned yawn, my queen. I'll start there. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate,
of course,
not making me feel crazy.
Yeah, not at all. So it is Jigglypuff. Thank you, Jayed. Oh, it's Kirby. Kirby. Thank you. That was gonna be Kirby. All right, well, you busted a Kirby right there. Okay. All right. But again, today's episode, All Black National Convention, we're gonna go through 3, 5, 10, 20, 5. All right, we'll go over 5, just like highlights, lessons from the experience. If y'all have questions, definitely drop your questions. But long story short, you need to be at this convention. If you're into Black wealth, if you're into the Black family, wealth in general, health in general, meeting dope people like Sinclair. What's up, Sinclair? Right? You want to make sure you tap in. Queen.
Yes.
You want to go first or second?
I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Afrofuturism workshop.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to see it, but I know you did well.
Thank you.
I saw the evidence of the child who came to the table and was like, he taught our class.
Yeah, that definitely warmed my heart. Shout out to Xavier. That warmed my heart. But the intro to Afrofuturism was a dope workshop because I've taught the Afrofuturism class, which is available online, but I haven't taught that in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm getting so used to talking about Tulsa Black Wall Street and talking about financial wealth, like very specifically, or like entrepreneurship very specifically, that I'm in a for a lack of better words, I'm in like a box in a way. I'm like, all right, that's the Black Wall Street guy, that's the entrepreneurship guy, which is great. Like that means I'm doing a good job.
Right.
If people come to me for that, on brand. But I think being able to step a little bit outside of that box sometimes and be a little bit more creative, be a little bit more nerdy, be a little bit more kid-like was fun. So I got to do an introduction to Afrofuturism with the kids. If you don't know what Afrofuturism is, in very short, it's a cultural aesthetic that brings together a way of thinking and a way of observing and engaging with history, time, and technology with Africa or African people at the center, right? So we hear all the time the quote, until the lion tells their own story, the story will always glorify the hunter.
I've never heard that quote before in my life.
Never heard that quote before. Well, clearly I'm just in a lot of African spaces a lot.
We hear the quote all the time.
I hear that quote all the time. But yeah, until until we start telling our own story, the story will always glorify the hunter, the oppressor, the people who are in power. And what Afrofuturism does is it's us telling our story, right? Through all times, through all perspectives, it is our story. So being able to share that with the kids, and obviously I switched up the wording. I didn't use cultural aesthetic and African-centered pedagogy. No, I made it kid friendly. It was like 7-year-olds to maybe 13, 14-year-olds in there. But they were engaged with this, Sinclair.
I feel like it's a topic that young minds can grasp onto because it's just like their imagination is stuff that they probably think about anyways without even realizing that it can fall into the category of Afrofuturism.
Literally, because it's play.
Yeah.
And we got to they made up their own planets. So one question I had on there was, if you can go to any planet and build a new Black civilization, what planet would you build it on? And they're like, does it have to be a real planet or can we make up a planet? And I was like, yes, make up a planet, please. So they made up their own planet. One planet was called Nuffaluffagus. Planet Nuffaluffagus. Yes. Okay. And then the other planet was Planet Wakanda. Right. So that one, very, very easy to remember. Nuffaluffagus, surprisingly, is also easy to remember. I don't know how to spell it. But like one planet was like half rock, half celestial, and then half water with mutated sharks.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you would hate that planet, Sinclair. You would not. That's not the one for you. That's Wakanda. Mutated sharks. I don't like
regular sharks.
Some with 3 eyes, some with 1 eye. It was a thing. And then another question. Yeah. Well, the other planet, Nuffaluffagus, had pineapple rings and peach rings, 4 moons. They had technology to control gravity. They had technology also to control the cars, the satellites, the phones with their mind. They had a motorcycle that was able to travel outside of the planet, around the atmosphere into other parts of the planet. So yeah, another question that I asked on there was, what technology do you want to create to improve the life of the people on your planet? So then they came up with all these cool types of technology. So long story short, it was just really dope to introduce them to Afrofuturism. And then by the end, they were able to say Afrofuturism and actually go through the 7 elements. I went through the 7 elements and I was like, which one's your favorite, without showing them. Yeah. They were like, I like time travel. I like space travel. I like the Black perspective. And I was like, you remember the Black perspective? It was really dope. So it was fun to nerd out. And then again, just think outside of the box. Even myself, with life, with technology, with this business, be able to think outside the box.
Did you walk away with any new ideas for stories or movies or books, games, anything like that?
No new ideas, but you know the comic idea that's in my head. And I think that gave more energy to that idea. Gotcha. Right. I'm not telling y'all what it is yet if you're watching or listening, because it's a dope idea. It's a $1 billion universe that we're creating. And y'all just gonna have to wait. We've been dropping hints probably for the last 1.5 years, 2 years. The first
build up for the real ones.
They're
gonna be
it's a lot. It's a lot. Next year, the first book will come out, so y'all start to see what we're going with. But yeah, we're building a whole just Afrocentric, Afrofuturism universe. It's gonna be dope. But it gave me more energy for that. Just seeing how much enjoyment they got out of it, seeing how much they wanted to create their own Black superheroes. That was another thing. Like that, all the activities built up to, okay, now what's the origin story? What's the superpower? What's the weakness? What's the planet of origin of your Black superhero that they created? So yeah, I'm very excited for that project. Thank you. All right,
I went. You did your thing.
I did. Not to toot my own horn, but I did do my thing. The volunteers, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this was so good." The students were so engaging. The students were coming up afterwards. They taught me how to get sturdy. I hope those videos get deleted. I'm not gonna show you how to listen. These knees, these knees right here, they not sturdy anymore. All right, I had my time. It's past. I'm now a game designer. But Queen,
yes,
I want to shift over to you because I can talk about Afrofuturism all day.
Yes, you can.
For you, what is another lesson, another memorable experience from the conference?
Well, as director of logistics and operations, I have to say one of the things that was cool that happened is that we sold out of games.
Come on.
That was
sold out, y'all.
Right. That was a really cool. A little bit of backstory is we actually brought the games with us in suitcases rather than shipping them here, like we did last year. So we had limited inventory, which we thought would be good because I think it's better to sell out than it is to have a whole bunch of stuff left over. But we sold out the first day with still hours left in that day and a whole other day. And literally an hour after we sold out is when the big old rush of people came. So I'm definitely happy we sold out, but also thinking about next year, okay, how can we make a happy medium between the two experiences?
Because tell what happened last year.
Okay, yeah. So last year we had a whole bunch shipped. We made T-shirts for this event specifically. We had a whole bunch of games shipped here, and then we had to also take them on the plane with us afterwards. We tried to ship them, and that didn't work. And so we had to actually just take them into the airport,
you check
them like baggage, and yeah, that was just
it looked crazy.
It was a mess. It was actually a mess because we had so much left over. We were very optimistic. That was our first time, so we had no idea.
Look, I was like, it's the All Black National Convention. It's Boyce Watkins. We need new shirts. Let's order hundreds of shirts. We need hundreds of board games. Let's go. I was going for it.
Per usual, we learned from the Kings. There's that optimism. That's great. Optimism is fantastic. But this is where we balance each other because where optimism can meet realism. And that's where we need to find that happy medium. And so anyways, that's what happened last year. We had so many left over. Again, this year we sold out way too early. So next year we're going to find that happy balance but where I think that the ideal thing is to sell out at the end of the event. Right. So we have enough to carry us through the event. And then we sell out right before we're ready to leave. Yeah. That's the perfect scenario.
Or we do a mixture of bring an extra suitcase for if we don't sell out, it can fit 10 games to bring back. So I think this year we maybe brought 30 games. So we know 30 games are going to go, right? So let's maybe get 50, maybe 70 games next year. And then that way, whatever we don't sell, we can bring back.
Yeah.
It also depends on where it is. If it's in California,
right,
we can just drive.
Right.
If it's in Arizona, if it's in Vegas, come on, boys. We can drive and we can bring much more. Cool. Vegas would be dope.
Let's go ahead and manifest Vegas.
Let's manifest Vegas. We're gonna just plant that right, boop, right there. All right, cool. Anything else on selling out?
Not necessarily on selling out, but one of the other limitations we had logistically with bringing the games on the plane with us in suitcases is we only were able to bring second edition games. So the Masterpiece Edition are the thicker boxes and just bigger boxes. They don't fit nicely in suitcases, so we wouldn't have been able to bring many of them. So we prioritized the second edition. But what we've learned from the past few physical tabling events is that the Masterpiece games, they sell way faster in person. Because you're actually able to see it. We have the board out, right? You're able to see the difference in the quality, see the difference in the size of the board, the circular, everybody's eyes definitely go to the Masterpiece. Yeah. And then when we say the price, I think people already have seen the value, then they see the price. And so they're like, okay, cool, I'm sold, right? They definitely like the collector's item. I feel like that exclusiveness, we're not able to really captured all of that online, but to be able to tell them in person, there's only 3,000 of these that are ever going to be made. This is a collector's item. People want that exclusivity.
Yeah.
But anyways, they move a lot faster in person. So next year, I'd also like to have a good mix of the second edition and the masterpieces. And a wide variety of shirts as well. I had one person that was like, "So where can I find the real people sizes of shirts?" We only had mediums and larges. I was like, "My bad, my bad, queen."
You know, we out of those.
Here you go. Here's the website.
Yeah. I think it was also cool that we had some people who were rocking with us last year.
Yeah.
And they were back and like, "Oh yeah, I already have the game. Yes. I bought it last year." Or even people who like, "Oh wait, I already have this game too. My grandma got this game for me." It was just cool to see the growth of the shirts. Yeah, it was good to see the growth of the brand, the product, and just like we really out here.
Yeah.
Right? I do want to, because I know we talked about kind of a negative thing or a place of growth for logistics and how we can get better, but I do want to uplift you in the fact that we had our pop-up, we had our new banner, right? So like our table setup, popping. Beautiful, right? Y'all will see it on the footage that we released, but we had like a full pop-up that's brand new. We've only used it twice. We have a brand new beautiful green tablecloth. Definitely with it pops, right? Like boom, green, Black Wall Street, Greenwood. So that was just cool to just feel like we're slowly upgrading as a business, as tabling, as a partners. Like we're just slowly upgrading in our game, and that's something that I just want to give to any entrepreneurs who are vendors. Like maybe you only sell stuff online right now, but like the queen said, like stuff moves in person.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a premier item, if you're selling jewelry, if you have paintings, like sometimes things move better in person when they can touch it, they can feel it, they can ask you questions, they feel emotionally connected to you, like you can sell more items. So highly recommend it. Before maybe like we started doing in-person stuff like maybe 2020. Like we weren't really doing too much in person besides like speaking engagements. But yeah, it's this you do is worth it.
I also think I have this point and then I have one more point I want to make before we move on.
Yes, ma'am.
I also think part of what makes physical items move faster is that typically, I mean, some booths will have like prices very visible, but typically it's you're laying out the stuff and then folks will ask you, "Oh, how much is this? How much is that? How much is that?" And I think that is helpful if you think about just the psychology of buying. You see it first. You can get "Oh, I like that." You start picturing it on yourself, right? We're talking about the necklaces, right? Okay, I can picture that on myself.
My boy got a bag for me.
Yeah. And he was selling a lot, right? And there were no prices on there, but you see it. "Oh, I like that. Let me picture it. Oh, that can go with that outfit. Oh, okay, this has all these benefits. Okay, I like that. I've already now seen it on me." So when you say the price, I'm like, it's not necessarily always like how much is this worth? It's like how much is the experience that I've seen in my head. I pictured my family playing this board game, like $40. That's a family game that is definitely worth $40, right? So I think that's another reason why things move really easily and easier in person.
Yeah, and because of real quick thing, sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut your wisdom. But also because of the environment we're in our niche market, and I feel like for almost everyone downstairs, like your primary customer, at least for Black Wall Street War Game, is Black families. So by the time they come up to us, by the time they see the game, they're already interested in wealth. They're already at a wealth-centered, Black-centered conference. So it's like, of course I'm going to get this game.
Right.
My bad.
I just wanted to piggyback and emphasize your point on like, it's been cool to see just our growth as a brand. And even with me, like becoming much more integrated and fully a part of this brand, of this company, has been really cool because during the reason why I didn't get to see his workshop is because I was down at the table. And I think that was one of the first times that I was tabling alone for that long. And I was a little bit nervous.
I left you unsupervised?
You did. You left me unsupervised. That was a risk. That was a risk. But I was able to hold my own and I felt very confident. I feel like the reason I was not confident in that in the past is because I'm like, he created it. This is his baby. Like he knows he watched all the documentaries, all the stuff. I don't know.
All my kids are your kids. I just want to put that on record. All my kids are your kids.
Thank you. But I was worried that somebody, and nobody has done this, but I was worried that somebody was going to come up and be like, "So what's the significance of," and like ask some super technical question that I didn't know. And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to seem like ignorant as the brand, as the brand representative, as the only person here. You're asking me this question about Black Wall Street, and I don't know." But one, I've heard you now educate on Black Wall Street enough to where I could probably do a workshop myself.
Right.
But also, yeah, I'm just like, oh, I know this product now. I've played this product. I've won this product. I just had to toot my own horn there. I've played the game. I've won the game. I know the value of the product, and that's all I need to communicate to the customer. Yes, Devon?
No, I'm just,
reminiscing on all the times you've lost when you played against me.
That's what I'm doing, y'all.
That's what I thought. But yeah, anyways, I was proud of myself that we sold. And you even texted like, yo, you were selling.
Yeah, because we were in the workshop, and every time there was a sale, because we connected to Shopify, not a sponsor, but we'll accept your money. Every time I would get a little phone vibrate, and I was like, dang, I was like, hey, Jair, Sinclair down there is selling.
You get a board game. You get a board game. You get a board game.
Look, it was moving. So
I found my pitch, and I felt comfortable. Hey you.
And the thing is, once you get rolling with the first few sales, you start to get that momentum. You start to get that confidence. And I do want to make sure we're making this practical. Yes, we are talking a lot about our own lessons, but these are things for any entrepreneur out there. Practice selling.
Yes.
Get comfortable selling. Make your first few sales. You're not gonna get every single customer. Once you get the ball rolling, once you find your pitch, your story, all right, I'm gonna hit them with this, and then I'm gonna hit them with this, and then if they, if they're not really sure yet, I'm gonna hit them with this, and then if they're still not sure, like have your moves kind of set up, almost like a script, but you don't want it to seem like too rehearsed. But you should almost have like a scenarios in your head of what you should do with your customers, just to make yourself comfortable.
And of course, we're only on number 2, so who knows if we get to all 5. But the last point that I want to make, I think, is to your point on like, we are at this conference and this is our niche market. So it makes sense that it is so easy once we have our good pitch to make the sales, because again, this is our primary target audience. So I just say that to say, if you are out there and you are having trouble with your pitch, like it's not connecting with the people, or you're just not getting a very high conversion rate, consider that you may be marketing to the wrong niche. That's or you're not in the right space. You don't have the right audience. Because I don't want to say it should be easy. It's not always easy, but there shouldn't be a whole lot of friction between you and the audience member. It should connect with them, right? Whether they, don't have the funds for it or whatever, there can be other reasons why they're not buying, but it should connect with your audience, right? Everybody who didn't buy, they still were like, oh, this is great. I don't have kids, or I'm not into games, so I'll pass this along to a family member, right? But they were still like, I like this. There was no one that came up and was like, this is whack.
And there was one person that came, at least one that came up, and you were telling the story. He was like, I already made the decision I was going to buy. You don't need to sell me. How much is it?
And then when we said the price, he was also like, yeah, he was like,
go ahead.
we said, okay, $40. We were selling him for $40 at the table. And he was like, oh, I had a number in my head. And I was like, out of curiosity. So we know for value, what was that number in your head?
Listen to this number, y'all. And after you listen to this number, you better go buy back Wall Street, the board game, before the price goes up.
Right. He was like, oh, well, I thought it was going to be $100. Mind you, that's the masterpiece edition, but he was wanting the second edition. And he was like, oh, I was fully prepared to come in here and spend $100. So once we said 40, he was like, okay, well, give me that book. And then give me that book.
He's like, mentally, I've already committed to spending $100 with y'all. So just rack it up.
And again, that's because from our pitch, he was like, oh, the value of this clearly has to be $100. It can't be any lower than that. So when we said the price, he was like, man, y'all got to up the price. Right. So we may or may not listen to him.
Listen, playbackwallstreet.com. Go ahead and get it. Let's move to the third point. Let's keep it going. And it's still kind of in alignment with our experience tabling and your baby fever.
Oh
goodness.
So come on.
See this?
Was he not one of the most adorable children you've ever seen?
So he was an adorable young prince. That is true. What was more adorable about him, and we kind of just skipped the whole point. So there was a very adorable young 3-year-old, shout out to Shar, who was coming to the table. And what was adorable to me was how intelligent and social and talkative he was. Like, he was so talkative, and he came up to the table. He was playing with all the pieces, rolling the dice, and he was like, yes, I did it. It was just really, really cute to see him engaging with the game, like pretending to read the book and holding the Rose and Roddy book up, pretending to play with the actual draw cards and stuff. And he was like, this says that I need a snack. And
yeah, He did say that. Mind you, he clearly was not able to read yet, but he knew the symbols. So every card he would pull up, he was like, "Oh, book." Right. And because it was like the library card or whatever. So yeah, that was really dope. But yeah, he would say some words as if it said, he was like, "Yeah, this says I need a snack."
Man, so that was a highlight because again, it's just really cool to engage with kids who like the product and just naturally gravitate towards the product.
He was going back and forth between both editions.
Right. Had no idea what it was. Loved the money. Was trying to take some money. Sinclair was going to let him have some money. Listen, first off, a little bit of a tangent. I'm learning that Sinclair is probably going to have a difficult time disciplining our children because he took the dollar and then she immediately looked at me and was like, "So should I let him take the dollar? I'm just going to let him have the dollar." He asked for the, and he was just walking away with it. I was like, "Sinclair, no, like you does not walk away with his dollar."
Okay, but one, I'm like, it's a display board. We never, like, we're not going to sell this. We just use it for tabling. There's never a point where we're going to put every single dollar bill out there. So I'm just like, if 1.5, if that makes him, if he walks away with that, like, oh, and then mom sees it and she's like, "Oh, okay, you like the board game."
We gifted him a book.
I know, but not the board game. Anyways, that was just the mindset. Like he really wanted to walk away with that. And Devon wasn't having it.
I wasn't. It's the principle of it. And I feel like even as a young kid, things need to be officially given to you.
And that's what you missed. I did. But I did it in a playful way, but then he took it and was like, "Thank you." So that's why I was like, okay, well, if he thinks it's his, he thinks I gave it to him. I don't want to take it back. Like, take it, kid.
Why didn't you want to take it back?
Because he thinks I gave it to him.
Mm-hmm. You didn't want to see the tears. Let's be real.
Of course I don't want to see tears.
Let's be real. You saw the cuteness. You're like, if I take this dollar, the cuteness might end.
And I would feel bad because again, I gave it to him like, "Here's money," because he was playing with everything else. I gave it to him in a playful, like, "Oh, play with this money." But he was like, "Oh, thank you," and took it and started like going to walk away. So
I'm paid now.
Right. I was like, oh, he's gonna be all confused. Like, she gave it to me and then she took it back. I know I don't want to see that.
Long story short, man, that definitely warmed our souls. People are always asking us about kids. No kids are in the picture anytime soon. Grandma, Joy, no. But we are looking forward to expanding the beautiful family that is us. We are looking forward to having our little babies running around, but in due time. But yeah, it was just good to see, good to engage. And then also gave us some additional ideas about what may come in the future for Black Wall Street, the board game, for Rose and Rodney, just being able to make some things for the babies.
I have another highlight that maybe I can add to the list or replace with another one. And that's the juicery that had the entire
shout out
family.
To Juice Up Reese.
Yeah, I had the entire family involved. That was really nice to see. It was mom, I'm assuming dad, but I'm not entirely okay. Mom, dad, and their 3 daughters. And yeah, it was just, I mean, there was like a younger one, a teenager maybe, and then like a middle child. And yeah, they were all involved. It was really cool to see. When I went up and bought my juice, I interacted with one of the daughters and she was just like, "Okay, can I introduce you into some juice?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, well, what do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, my husband loves ginger." And she's like, "Okay, so you got a man. Okay, so blackberry is really good for men. So you can try this one." And it's like, she was selling, she knew her whole pitch. And yeah, it was just really nice to see, like, she was fully engaged. It didn't have to be mom, like, "Okay, go handle it." She already came up, she took that initiative. So yeah, it was really cool to see the whole family get involved and really passionate about juice. And yeah, I know that probably gave you some ideas of how we will like to bring our families and have them all interact and have different roles for our business.
100%. We talked about this, a few podcasts ago, but in my head, it should be mandatory, aka semi-mandatory, because the queen's on the edge about it, for the kids to work for the business. So if we are at the All Black National Convention, the family is at the All Black National Convention. If we're going to Ghana to donate to schools and to learn language and history, then the family's going out there to learn all that stuff, right? If we are at a health convention and mom's selling her books and giving her workshops, then the family's going to, I just feel like the whole family should be doing that stuff when it makes sense, right? If they have school or they have, soccer practice and other things, then we're going to have to make some family decisions, but it shouldn't be I don't want to go. It's like, no, this is work. This is how we pay the bills. We're rolling. And I even, went up to the dad and I was like, hey, you know what, King, just congrats on the beautiful family. Just shook his hand. He gave a big smile. But he's like, thanks. But yeah, I feel like I try to do that whenever I do see a strong Black man with his beautiful family. I'm just like, hey, congratulations. I see you. Right. Because that's a powerful thing. To have a Black family, to everyone's healthy. They have a health conscious business. They have their own business. They're all together. They're having fun. Like all of them had really good energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good vibe. Shout out to Juice Up Reese. You're not an official sponsor of this podcast, but we showing you some love. We had the ginger pineapple.
Delicious.
All right.
And it was a slushy.
Yes, and it was slushy. It was kind of cold though. So I mean, the slushy was cool, but to be honest with you, it was cold here. The slushy would be perfect in California.
Yeah.
During this cold weather, the slushy was like, okay, this is kind of cold. Let me wait a little bit. But I'm gonna break up the next two, and I'm gonna go into our Ask Declare segment. Okay, because this Ask Declare segment kind of riffs off of your random question that you had in here, and the Ask Declare segment. I want to ask you, Sinclair, if you could make sure, if you can just guarantee that one business would be passed down and ran actively by one of your kids, which business in your mind do you see being taken over by the kids?
I mean, this one, Playboy Wall Street, seems like a natural, because the kids are already going to be, I think, invested in it from a young age. That one probably makes the most sense as to the one that they would get involved in at a young age and become kind of loyal to. Gotcha. As they grow older and get to the point where they're now looking for a full-time job. Like, Playboy Wall Street, like, that's the company I grew up supporting. I grew up helping my dad create new versions of the game. Like, I can imagine them just being very active, very very loyal to the brand. So probably that one.
Gotcha. Okay. I would go with, or do you want to ask me a different question? You got about 5 seconds to think about it. I'm going to talk to buffer the time, Queen. I'm going to give you 5 dedicated, intentional seconds to go ahead and think of a question. If you are listening right now, make sure you give us a like on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to help us get to 1,000 subscribers that we can start monetizing this impactful, beautiful, melanated content. And now I am done stalling for the Queen. And let's see if she has a question.
Really not do things where you put me on the spot. So sorry, I'm just going to ask you the same question.
Yeah. So to be different, I'm going to go away from Playboy Wall Street, but probably something to do with the filming that we're going to start doing and like the animation work. Because I think I do really like the board game, but I feel like where my heart is, my passion is going into animated series and films and documentaries and really storytelling. And I think the board game does a good job at storytelling, but everywhere we go, they're always like, you need to make an app or you need to make a movie. You need to make something digital. So yeah, I think it would be dope for me to be going around with my camera or my script and then have little Dom or little Drone, little Delton going around, little Dwight going around, little Kenji with their cameras, with their scripts. Probably a few of them are going to have glasses because me and my family struggle with eyes. So yeah, just having a few of them with glasses on, just going around telling stories and documenting.
Yeah.
Especially like when we go on like family vacations and trips, I'm always the annoying person that's doing the vlog videos, sometimes with the wrong location, taking the pictures, taking the selfies. So I think having, one of our kids who's also down with that, and they're like, Dad, I want this camera, I want this GoPro so I can capture. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I feel like if we have a child that is, just gravitates towards like photography and videography, are they just going to become the family like videographer?
Is that a question? Yes. Yes, they're going to need to figure out like a tripod situation so they can be in some of the videos and some of the pictures. But yeah, 100%, like we're at these tabling events, we're traveling. All right, hey, Kendrick, hey, Delton, we need you to cover this. You got it? Yeah, I got it, Dad. Cool. It'll be even more beautiful if one can capture and the other one can edit so they can, have that bonding time and actually create something from scratch. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
Oh, y'all stop. No, the kids are not coming. We see you, we hear you. No, be
Not
patient. Not yet. Be patient. All right, let's get back into it. Number 4.
Yes.
I think something that was really beautiful to see, and it had a very authentic vibe to it for me, was I don't know what the exact title of it was called, but the award ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
There was the All Black National Convention award ceremony. This is only the second annual awards. I don't know how many conventions there've been. Yeah, but second annual awards, where Boyce Watkins was picking people who were notable in the field of education, who were the standout Black Business of the Year, the Dr. Claude Anderson Lifetime Achievement Award. Maybe there are some others I'm forgetting, but just people in our community who are doing work for our community, and he was recognizing them for that work. And what I just really love is 2 ways. One, just the words, authentic words that he was saying to people, and the fact that he has his ears to the ground out there. He's not just doing his own work and saying his own bubble, but he's also seeing and appreciating the work other people are doing for the community. That's dope. But then also the fact that when people got on stage, most of them, like a solid 80%, if not all, were like, thank you, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Like you're a mentor, you're a great person. You always help me out. You give me advice. And it was just really dope to see the love and admiration that he gets. I think we don't see teachers. At the end of the day, he's a professor, right? At the end of the day, he's a professor. He's an author, a podcast host, but he's not an actor. He's not the athlete. He's not the quote unquote traditional celebrity. But it was great to see this educator be put on that pedestal and given the respect that he deserves, right? So that was dope for me.
I think another thing that almost everybody said was like, this award means the most out of any of them that I've ever gotten. And it seemed like some pretty decorated folks were getting awards. Like think people who've gotten awards, multiple lifetime awards, but I think maybe three different people came up and were like, this means the most. Yeah. There was an artist that went up and was like, this means more to me than a Grammy. Yeah. Right. There was a person who had got a lifetime achievement before, like 2, I think, other lifetime achievements. And they were like, this one means the most because it's coming from you. And it wasn't even, they weren't even saying it as of like, because this awards has the highest status. It was because it came from you, like personally. Because you chose it, like that's why it means the most. So yeah, I can definitely tell like he's making a huge impact on the people that he touches. So that was very inspiring.
Huge shout out to King Boyce Watkins, who's apparently his African name is Kabu. Yeah. Shout out, which means I gotta say my African name out here. Ni Papo Samwa Kuthronku. In case you forgot. Ni Papo. What's up?
You probably did. It's okay.
You probably did. This is probably your first episode. Let's be honest. This is your first episode. It's okay. It's all good. And another thing that happened in the award ceremony, and I forgot the king's name who said this, but it was the person who won the Dr. Claude Anderson Lifetime Achievement Award. And in Sinclair, if you remember the name, feel free to pop it in at any point in time. But he said that the 3 most productive periods of your life are from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, and 70 to 80. Those are the 3 most productive times of your life. And I think sometimes, me personally, the queen knows this, I get very anxious about, the impact that we're having, the dreams that we're chasing, and not doing enough, not producing enough, not working hard enough, whatever it is, and always thinking that we can do more. But to hear that from someone who, he said he was 77 years old, he had just won the Lifetime Achievement Award, so clearly he's doing some good stuff, right? But to hear him be like, hey, don't worry. He told Dr. Boyce, who just turned 51, you're just getting started.
He literally said, you ain't done yet.
Right. He said, you ain't done yet. And the whole crowd was like, ah. But yeah, like the fact that you can be 50 and just getting started in your journey, in your road, and still be excellent, still leave a long legacy, gave me a little bit of like, okay, you on your thing, you moving, you're about to be 30, you have plenty of time to still create the impact and legacy that you want, you know, all in God's plan, all in God's timing. But yeah, you don't need to rush through it. And that's another just message I want to give out there to the beautiful people, to my queen, and of course, selfishly to myself, that you do have time. The best and most productive and most brilliant years are yet to come for you, my friend. So relax, you got it.
I'm gonna remind you of that periodically.
Yeah, just play back that clip. Just, hey, come on, watch this. Oh, dang, I did say that. You're right.
And you recorded his awards too.
I did
so
record
one,
it.
we could find out his name, but two, and play back that actual speech he did.
Yeah.
When you need it. But also one thing that I want to point out to just emphasize that further is keep in mind too, you as a 29-year-old were sitting in this room with these heavy hitters who were 51, 77, right? And like he said, you know, Dr. Boyce Watkins as a 51-year-old, he was saying like you have not done anything yet.
Yeah.
So I also want to just keep in mind that like we're already in that room.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not even like it's not even like we paid necessarily to be there, right? We got invited to that room.
That we do.
So keep that in mind too. Like you are on your way. You are already in the room. You're sitting within feet of these people. All right. You are in the rooms.
Within feet of,
yes,
oh boy.
Yes. So it's like you are on your way. That's step number 1 is getting in the room. Right. That's one thing that I've been thinking about too. Like I was kind of looking around like, wow, it's kind of crazy that we're in this room right now. Like looking at all of the people, like, yeah.
So this was the gala. This is the VIP room. So people that either pay significant amount of money to be in this space, or the people who are getting the awards.
Yeah.
Right. And we were guest speakers. And shout out to the team for letting us into the space. Oh, you're Devon Trell? Okay, come on in. Right. Well, first off, this is how you know it was a really good, high quality room. So we had Jair with us, right? Jair he's in the background right now doing the podcast, but he also got a lot of dope content for us throughout this convention. This guy, we gave him his all access pass, which gives him access to be able to go into all these spaces. He took off the all access band, and then he showed up to the gala with his camera like, hey, I'm here for the gala. Then, hey, can I come in? And they're like, no. Like, what are you doing here? Who are you with? What are you doing? Where's your band? They're like, oh, my band's upstairs. You can't come in, right? You cannot come into the space unless you are cleared, unless you are approved. So, and then one of the people had to come to our table and be like, Devon, come with me. Mr. Truvel, come here. Is this man with you?
Do you know this man?
I was like, yeah, he's with me. I was like, okay, where's his band? I gave him his band. I don't know. He's like, I took a shower. It's wet. I took it off. Oh my gosh, why did you? So again, that just kind of shows you, and just like the level of status and security of the people that were in that room that were rolling with security, and like we're not. Yeah, we on our way, like you said, Quinn. We on our way for sure.
Yes.
All right, last one. Number 5. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. We could have gone on a lot of different highlights. This was a really good trip. Shout out to Charlotte for hosting us. Hopefully next time we'll get to see more of the city, eat some more of the food. We got a few spots. Shout out to Cuzzo's. You know, if y'all here, go ahead and taste some Cuzzo's. What else did I want to say before we get into it? And long story short, just next year, All Black National Convention
in Vegas.
Hopefully. We're not saying it's in Vegas, right? Check the website, but we hope it's somewhere on the West. Queen.
Yes.
We were able to capture some footage, and don't tell all the information, because there's some things that are happening that we can't tell y'all yet, but we were able to capture some footage. What footage were we able to capture, Queen?
We were able to capture some promo videos that are going to be, I don't know how to say it without saying, I would just say they will be sent to some very high status people. And so it was, we were basically just putting together a video that shows our appreciation and tells them like how to play the game or what to do with the game, some of the resources included in the game, and how we'd like them to support us. So you're good. Okay. No, stop right there. You had me nervous the whole time because you never know what Sinclair is going to say. But really exciting things happening for Play Black Wall Street. We appreciate all the support, all the love. You know, there's been a lot of y'all, you know, including Grandy and a lot of friends who have been rocking with us since the first edition of the game. When we actually had the meeting,
with, and we can say the organization.
Yeah.
Right. So we had a meeting with JLH, and as y'all know, we did get the JLH Impact Fund grant earlier this year, and we've been able to work with them to develop some ideas and really partnership and grow that community. So huge shout out to Drew and Lauren Holiday. Much love and appreciate your impact. But we've been able to go to the gathering spot. We met with this group of people, and then afterwards we came down with the board game, took some pictures, and then there was a young lady there who was like, "Oh yeah, I got the first edition of that game." I was like, "What?" There's literally only like 300 first editions out there. First off, the money in that game is embarrassing. I'm sorry. Like the quality of it is just like, oh my gosh.
Do you remember what you said? I don't think you caught like how you said it to her, so I had to clean it up afterwards. But you were like, you had the second edition in hand, and you were talking to the older gentleman, right? And showing him. And then you looked to her, and you were, or you looked to him, and it was like, and this edition is way better than the one she got. And she was kind of like, oh. But then I was like, oh, but yours is like limited edition. There was only like 250 of those ever made. So yours is very valuable. She was like, and then she goes, okay, well, I'm glad I got mine. I was like, phew.
Good job, Queen. Because yeah, that first edition, again, it's a lot of love for everyone who has the first edition. But it's like anything. Like I'm sure if you can ask, Basquiat, you ask Jay-Z, you ask Tupac, J. Cole, like, oh, the first raps that you did, they're like, oh, those were not my best raps, right? You get better with every edition. So it's not that the first edition's like really bad, but it's like when we literally have a edition called the Masterpiece Edition now. So it's like in comparison to the Masterpiece Edition, the best edition we've ever created. Yeah, the first edition, y'all real ones for having it. We appreciate you. Wrap that thing up. We're never making a first edition again. So that one's definitely a collector's item. But long story short, yeah, we've come a long, long way from the idea of 2017 to where we're about to be by the end of 2022, and sky is the limit in 2023, right? We have big imaginations, we have big dreams, we have a lot of support. So just really looking forward to what Play Black Wall Street grows into after this big campaign in the holidays, which means, and I know I've been saying this, but
exclamation point,
go get Black Wall Street, the board game, because we have maybe like 1,200 left. A lot are about to go ship out. Okay, I'm not going to tell you how many, but hundreds are about to leave for this campaign. And then the holidays are coming up. And then when this campaign goes live, we're going to be very visible. So there's going to be more people that want to get the game. So if you're listening to this episode, it's probably because you rock with Sinclair, you rock with Devon. There's a lovely couple, a lovely friend that sent you this episode, or you were at the All Black National Convention and you Google searched it and then this video came up. You got put in front of this video for a reason, right? Go ahead, get the game before it sells out. PlayBlackWallStreet.com. We appreciate you. Queen, any final notes on the All Black National Convention?
No, just looking forward to seeing us grow, but also seeing like how many new connections we're able to make every time we come, and just looking forward to like after years of coming to this, like us coming and like knowing a whole bunch of people and like, oh, that's Play Black Wall Street. Hey, oh, hey, yeah. So I'm just looking forward to growing with this event in this community.
Agreed. Ashe. Updates for the week. We've been talking a lot about Black Wall Street, the board game, so we'll skip that, but we will remind you all that this is the last 2 days. Wait, what's the date today? Oh, we got 6 more days for the Rose and Rodney campaign, right? So if you do want to support that, you want to make sure that we continue to teach the legacy of Tulsa Black Wall Street through an animated fun series that the kids can watch and play with and learn all at the same time. Make sure you go to playblackwallstreet.com, click the support Rose and Rodney campaign, and help us reach our goal. Last I checked, we were at 4,550. We do need to get to 10,000 in order to create an entire 8-episode season. So go to playblackwallstreet.com, get you a board game, and support the Rose and Rodney campaign. Queen, anything else on your side with your beautiful, healthy, melanated, smiling, dancing eyebrow, dancing lips, having self?
Well, we also have the $1 Million Marriage Challenge coming up in mid-November. So if you and your partner, your spouse, you're trying to really solidify your wealth plan, right? How you're going to be able to pass down that generational wealth, how you want to grow your net worth, but also work on you as a couple, right? We're also going to focus on like your relationship with your spouse and figuring out how you can really make that solid, because
your communication, your principles.
Yes, because that is an important part of that building wealth. You need to have a strong foundation. So we focus on all of that. And we've got some nice experts coming in and helping us out with that. Married into Crazy. We've got Snooks and Lovey coming in. We got Coach T going to come in and talk about like values. And so, yeah, really, really excited.
And Marjorie McPike coming through, the CPA lady, to make sure your tax strategy is on point way before tax season, right? Taxes are due in April. You should be preparing, strategizing by the end of the year.
Yes. So we got that and more. You're going to get a disc assessment included. Like, there's so much value put into this. Wow. It's actually ridiculous.
Wow.
So if you are wanting to get on the wait list and sign up for this event, go to $1,000,000marriagechallenge.com. Did I get that right?
$1 Million Marriage Challenge. Yes, you did.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you. Go there and join the wait list. It is a pay what you want type of admission. So we don't have a set price. Whatever you think the value is worth to you is what you can donate to the cause. So yeah, we're going to be sending out the Eventbrite for that next week. So definitely go and join the wait list so you can make sure that you receive the Eventbrite link.
There it is. All right, beautiful people. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is episode 136. We've been rocking. We've been rolling. Yeah, that's all we can say, man. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, this beautiful queen's husband.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the health nerd, this handsome king's wife.
Hey, come on now. We hope y'all secure the marriage. We hope y'all secure the love. And of course, we hope y'all secure the bag. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.